serpentine belt or accessory belt from the inside of the car. See, you saw in the previous video how I removed this engine access cover. Lots of space here. I don't know why. I'm not reusing this old belt here, but I'm going to label it anyway, what direction. I'm using a metallic Sharpie, but I'm just going to put the arrow which way it goes. If you're using it, you probably want to install the serpentine belt in the same direction it's going. Okay, this is the easiest thing you'll ever do on a Boxster. I'm using a 24mm socket and ratchet. You can use a wrench if you want. If you've already one, you can use your teeth. Clockwise, push down on the pulley tensioner. It's automatically going to loosen itself. And I found the only way, or the easiest way to slip the belt off is just by the idler pulley here. Just pull it off, and then you can let go. What I didn't do, I didn't take a picture of it. Why did I take a picture of that? That was silly. Let's try it again. Pop it back on there. There you go. I'll take a picture. I may need it later on. See how it roots. Okay, let's do this again. There's so much time, spare time on my hands, I can just do this over and over. 24mm socket or wrench or your teeth, whatever you want to use. Clockwise, push down. I find being over here gives you nice leverage. You can put your body weight in there. It's not that difficult. Push down, slip the bolt off, let go, and then you can just essentially just take the rest of the bolt off. Just slip it off like this. Just like that. See, nothing to it. Famous last words, right? Okay, it's not the easiest thing you do on a Boxster, but it surely is one of the easiest things you ever do on a Boxster. There we go. Next step, I shall be removing the AC compressor. Well, I'm going to check now if my theory was right with the power steering. I'm going to check to see how much fluid or if any fluid is left in the power steering reservoir. It seems to be dry, so I might have just gotten lucky here and found some easy way of doing this. I'm going to replace the cap here so no dust gets in there. I wasn't sure where all the lines going, but if that return line probably goes into the reservoir and the pressure line goes into the pump or something like that. Anyway, that's done. Gonna remove the brake booster vacuum line in the flood car. If you remember, if you watched the video, I removed these two little bolts here and took the whole elbow out. This way we're gonna do it differently. We're actually just gonna remove this little circlip here. There we go. Plastic circlip. Let's not drop that. Put that aside. And well, that is a big fat fail. But I'll take it. That wasn't supposed to happen. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to replace the circlip here. And just leave that there like this. Sorry for a shaky video. Okay. A mechanic I'm not. I'm now here eating my words. I do have to replace the power steering reservoir to get to one of the AC compressor bolts. But at least it's drained, so it's not going to be a big mess. In the other engine, I had a whole bunch of power steering fluid actually on top of the engine case. It took me a while to clean it, so theoretically I should not have any power steering fluid coming out of here. So, alrighty, let's see. Here's a reservoir, and down here is a ring. Where is it? That holds it. Just give it a little push. And you should just be able to wiggle this baby loose now. I'm sorry if I'm wiggling the camera. Remember, this one line here goes nowhere, it's just a vent line. So not to worry about disconnecting that line. But come on! Don't recall how I got it, but I don't won't damage anything. But at least I'm half right. I still have to take off the reservoir, but draining it from below is much easier and doesn't leave any mess up top here. There we go. One power steering fluid reservoir removed. Check. Okay, I'm over top of the left side of the engine, just above the AC compressor. I'm going to use my trusty old socket here to remove bolt number uno. And just want to point out here again, this extension here has allows me a little bit of a swivel for the socket down here, which in this case just enough of a swivel that I can easily unbolt this. This side here could be fuel line, could be, it's not a beer line, I know that. Same thing. That's loose. Bolt number 3. Cylinder 4 and 5. Again, need to touch the extension here. Remember your lefty loosey, righty tighty. My apologies. I'm not a videographer or a mechanic. That's pretty obvious. Alright, so I was in a hardware store, and like any other normal guy, you just walk by the tool section, and this nifty little doohickey thingamabobber caught my eye. This is a grab tool that, let me show you, has a LED light at the end and this nice little grab arms. It's probably not going to come out very well in the video, but anyway, I'm going to use this nifty tool to retrieve the bolts I just loosened on the AC compressor. So this first, so nice to have the light at the end. So easy. So easy. I'm sure I could probably grab the other bolts by my hand, but hey, why? We have this nifty little tool here. That's the right bolt, and last but not least, it's a left bolt. Voila! Let's go see how loose the AC compressor is. See, it's loosey-goosey. So the AC compressor stays there until we lower the engine. So the AC compressor now is loose, but it stays there until the engine gets lowered a little bit. Then there's enough room to remove the AC lines that go over top here. Gonna bring those over, and then this AC compressor is gonna be sitting inside the cabin here. But right now, just gonna leave it there. I don't know where this infamous AC plug is, so if I find it, I'll let you know. Bah! Maybe I'm being too detailed. What are you working on here? I am working just over the left side of the engine compartment, and I will remove the plug into the airbox. If I only remember how that comes off. There's a little tab on there. Push the tab in with your thumb, and then wiggle it loose, just like that. So a clip here, and that clips at the side of the airbox. Maybe if I unclip that, there we go, it gives me a little bit more leverage. Voila! Okay, that's removed. Let's lay it inside here. That's gonna come out with the engine. Next step is I will remove the hose going to the mass airflow sensor. Do you need a video of that? Probably not. I'm gonna go ahead now and remove the mass airflow sensor hose here. And just like the radiator hoses, I'm using my trusty number 7mm socket. Loosen the clamp, holding it onto the mass airflow sensor. I'll use a screwdriver and a little hook thingy to work it loose. We've been there for 17 years. Who knows how long? It might not even come off. Not gonna worry about it too much if it doesn't come off. Boom, off. Easy enough. Unplug the air cleaner box. Remove the mass airflow sensor hose. And now I'm gonna work my way over to the secondary air injection box over here. Here we are, or I am working on the right side of the engine, behind the passenger seat. So I shall be removing the auxiliary or secondary air intake pump. There's 2 or 3 13mm bolts holding it on, a plug, a hose, and also while I'm at it, I'm going to remove this ground strap. I think it's for the starter if I'm not mistaken. To unplug this plug here, I found take a screwdriver here, and at the end have that after 21 years of not touching it, gets a little crud build up inside of it. I just use a screwdriver and give it a little push here, loosen up a little bit, use my thumb, push it, and it just comes right off like this. This works very easy. Get the hose off here, just screwdriver, pull it off, and then here's 1, 2, 3, I think that's 13mm. Just gonna 13mm undo the ground strap. It's a little tight. So rustle that a little bit. Replace the nut. Whew. Was easy. Where's the other one? One here. This one. One below. It'll be a little bit of a hand contortionist here. Okay, one's off. Comes off much easier than the flat car. Okay, let's see how I'm gonna wrestle this thing out of here. Just like this. Wow, easy peasy. The secondary auxiliary, or whatever you want to call it, air pump is removed. If I'm mistaken, there's a fuel line here. I have to remove this too, and I'm gonna do it right now. Do some more reading and look at my notes. I'm going to remove the fuel line attached to the right fuel rail. Obviously you want to do this in a very well ventilated area. This is not to be taken lightly. Gas is very flammable, especially the fumes, and the fumes will find a source of ignition far away, and well, you can figure out the rest. I am 100% sure that I'll be safe doing this, but I took an extra precaution. I have my trusty ABC fire extinguisher here, just in case, as well as my little drop pan under it. There might be a little bit of fuel dripping out. Actually, I don't have, but I will be getting out of my bucket of bolts here. Okay. I found a bolt that is probably gonna fit into the line. So we're working on this here fuel line. I'm pulling that off and hopefully right away plugging it up to mitigate the spillage of fuel. Yes, and the other thing I'm doing here is opening the gas cap in case there's any kind of pressure in there. So there's no hose clamp on there, which I find a little odd for a fuel line. Just take my general purpose pliers here, push this little hose aside, and I'm guessing, I know what I'm guessing here. I'm guessing I'm going to try to take this line off somehow. Pliers maybe? Nope, that's not working. Now I'll try a big ass screwdriver. You can just push it off. Nope. Try plan 3. See? Got a pick tool here that I can maybe just kind of go under it and just loosen it off a little bit. Maybe it's been sitting there for 19 years. Stubborn. Kind of like my kids. This is not pretty. Not pretty at all. Wow, what's going on here? So the book says remove fuel line. So this is how I'm doing this now. Take a knife, somehow get in there and just start cutting. 17 years. It's gonna make that plastic quite hard to move. Now it's leaking a little bit. Put a rag over top. Let's see if I can put a screw in here to plug it up. That stinks. Oh my goodness. That was not pretty. I am not trying to be. Just trying to get the job done best as possible. Okay, one fuel line removed. Learned something. Screwdriver. Slide into the top little groove here and gently pull back and it will come right, pop right off. And this is actually the alternator cable that we've been moving here. Not the starter, not the battery, but the alternator cable. Not important what it is, just important that it's being removed. Okay, I choose to replace cover. There's 3 more things I want to do in the engine compartment before I move into the trunk. And you're looking here at the right rear engine compartment, this being the right side here, and this is your mass airflow sensor. Just give you a sense of direction here. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to move the shifter cables out of the way. And after they're out of the way, I'm going to remove the oil filler neck here. And underneath the oil filler neck is a oil cooler coolant line. I'm going to disconnect that. So there's 3 things I'm doing here right now. Just kind of bring them up. I just kind of like to lay them on top here. It's kind of out of the way. Then when I drop the engine, it won't get into the way. Get caught or snagged. Let's wipe this clamp off. And I get my trusty general purpose pliers here, which I'm sure a Porsche mechanic will be mortified to see me use. But look at that. Just like that. Give it a little wiggle. And here we go. So, what would be a bad day is if something like anything would go down that oil filler neck. Yeah, you don't want anything to go down that filler neck, so I'm gonna grab a nice clean rag and just shove that. You don't want water or debris, or heaven forbid you drop a nut or bolt in there. That would make for a very bad day. So that's out of the side here, and then here is the 2 lines going into some kind of junction thingamabobber-majigger. Supposed to just push this old tab in and it's supposed to come apart. Then again, the IMS bearing is not supposed to fail either, is it? Porsche. And then you say, nonsense, poopy pants. Then we go to plan B. There's so much patience that I have. Right, the idea of a quick disconnect here. But if it's not working, then who gives a shit, right? There you go. Putting something over just so nothing goes in. Okay, so the oil filler neck is nicely plugged up. This is the dipstick. Gonna remove that from the inside. So everything in here. Oh, I forgot one more thing. And that is the blower motor plug. It's just down here. The blower motor is right here. Big ass screwdriver. It's a blower motor right here. There's a plug. The electrical plug is right here. Take a screwdriver, just pry it ever so little. Don't pry too much or you break the tab. And once you have that pried, you can then just wiggle the plug loose, and that came off surprisingly easy. I'm gonna go ahead and label that now. And that's it for up here for now. Making our way inside the trunk now to gain access to the all the wiring back here. This is being the left side of the trunk. I'm assuming these just turn. Remove the rear access panel. I'll start with removing what looks like 1, 2, 3 clips with my trusty clip remover here. Oh yeah, just pull them out like this. 1, 2. Unplug the light back here. First, I'm going to pull the dipstick out, then I'm going to squeeze these clips in, not with my finger, and push that dipstick tube through. Of the dipstick tube, and pull the dipstick tube. Take the dipstick that you just pull out, be sure there's no crud or debris on it, and push it back in. That's it. That's all. Let's give you some orientation of where we are. This is the back of the, I'm going to call it engine firewall. Before you go all crazy and you start unplugging stuff, don't start unplugging anything yet. All these wires that are connected here have to go, this ground is being pushed in, it's going to be pushed through on top of the engine. So you want to follow those lines, because you have to unplug everything here, if I'm not mistaken. I brought my trusty metallic Sharpie. Obviously, this one ground needs to be removed. 10mm. This, I might as well unplug it to get it out of the way. Put the nut back on here. So, to unplug this plug here, push in, wiggle it loose. But before I actually move it, because you know, I'm gonna label all the plugs with my metallic Sharpie. Where this unplugs, top plug, just push in with your thumb, wiggle it loose, like this. The second plug is a little different. Remove the camera. So the tab here, push that in, and there's a lever. Slide the lever up top, and then this whole plug comes out, even though we don't need to unplug this, but we have to get to the other plug. And then the same thing, next one down, I'm going to label that. It's going to be C, senor. Pushed in the tab, and slide the lever, push the tab in, slide the lever up, and then the whole plug comes out like this. One more. I'm labeling it just because it's gonna make reassembly so much faster. Same thing. Bring this plug out. So now we have this plug out. This cable's out. Now what's left? Move the camera over here. There's two plugs here, a black plug and a clear whitish plug. To unplug those, put the camera actually over here, something like this. Take a screwdriver. There's a bracket that is a slide. You can see that it just slides out like this, and it pushes the plug out. Wow, that's pretty interesting. I'm not going to label that plug because it's pretty obvious where that goes. And then the other plug we have to unplug is the one just below that. It's a whitish, opaque looking plug, same thing. Screwdriver in, bring it out, pull on it. Don't be too forceful. Pull it out, and then the plug will just come out like this. And then just kind of feed. We're going to just feed everything over, and you have all the wiring that's going to go through the firewall right here in one hand. It's very easy. Find something, not particularly as too sharp, you can push that grommet through. Just like that. So the garment, I'm not going to push the wires through. The whole harness I'm going to push through when I'm lowering the engine. Right now I'm not going to push it through. But while I'm over here, I got the tool in my hand. Do the same thing or a different thing with the dipstick grommet here. I forgot now how I did the other car, but I just kind of wrestled that through. I'm sorry. Some of those things I'm doing here aren't the prettiest, but also not the most straightforward Porsche. Here we go. Again, just leave it here. We're gonna feed both the dipstick tube and the wiring harness through when we lower the engine. Okay, just give you some general direction of where we're at. At the left side under the car. Need to still disconnect a few lines. Let's see, can we show this? Can you see this? Maybe you can. So there's two lines, these two lines here, which are power steering. This is the vacuum for the brake vacuum line here. So I still actually have to disconnect that. I haven't done that yet. But also there's a bracket here that holds it to the body of the car. So I am going to go ahead and remove that bracket. And I'm going to see if there's another spot I can actually disconnect this power steering line here, because it's quite long. And if I can get a way to not have to fish that through, that'd be great. But I don't think so. Let's go see, okay? I hope that this video is going to be good enough for everybody just to see what I'm doing here. Let's see my hand here. No, you can't see what I'm doing here. Everything's in the way, right? Yeah, right here. That's the best I can do. Turn a trusty screwdriver. Maybe just pry this out or not. I think I'll lift the tab here. There we go. And that just falls down. Nothing to it. And also use my trusty screwdriver, and you need to actually just go on your own. Okay, there we go. This is the power steering return line. Actually, look at that. There's a little hose clamp here. Let's see if we can get that through here. That's it. So I'm gonna actually remove that hose clamp and then remove that line actually. Yeah, actually. That's right, actually, that's exactly what I'm going to do, actually. I do think that I have used my trusty general purpose pliers, that I'm sure any seasoned Porsche mechanic, or Porsche mechanic, will be mortified to use, because you just don't, but you know what? Some things, they just seem to work. Maybe I spoke too soon, or maybe I didn't. Let's get these pliers on here. There we go. Boom. So I'm going to take some pictures here. So when reassembling happens, I hopefully have some idea where things go. Like I said, manual is great, but the manual doesn't tell you everything. For instance, the manual will tell you to take things apart, but it doesn't tell you how to take it apart. So that's not very helpful, is it? I'm going to attempt to slide this hose off. Well, that was just almost too easy, but I think it's going to be pretty challenging to put that together up there when I put the engine in, so I have to figure something out here. So why am I disconnecting this line here? Because I actually think this line's already off. Isn't this the one that goes into the intake manifold? I'm going to refrain from disconnecting that. I do not think, but I'm going to use some tape I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm going to cover up the power steering lines. It's not going to stop from oil seeping out, but it's going to hopefully stop from crap going in, which is all I want to do here. Okay, I think that might be it. Okay, next and hopefully the last thing, I need to disconnect on the engine is this fuel line, or these fuel lines. The book says to disconnect both. I think only one, but well, I'm already here, might as well disconnect both, right? Flip that open. Okay, just get some more room here. So this one on the left, you just squeeze in. Yeah, you just need to squeeze it because it's just so easy. And anybody, remember these are fuel lines, so that it's going to be fuel that can spill out on my drop pan under the car, my fire extinguisher, and I'm not wearing safety glasses, which I should be. Now I'm wearing my safety glasses. Does it come apart? I don't even know what's come apart here. No, I'm stupid. They. Okay, do this again. Edit. Edit. Edit, Reddit. Push the screwdriver in like this. And push the line out like this. Let it drip. There's a little gap here, so it's going to give it a little bit of encouragement when I squeeze those tabs. There we go. See, I just press those tabs. This one, this line on the left. Obviously, I'll just press the tabs, put the screwdriver in a little bit, and just it came out very easily. And the one on the right here, I actually just used a screwdriver to push it in all the way, and then just pulled this line out. So nothing to it. So next step is engine is coming out. I might have forgotten something that's connected to it, but I'll deal with that when I drop the engine. So I'm just getting ready to drop the engine, and I just took another peek through the top, and I noticed the air hose from the mass flow air sensor to the air box it's not sitting right. It looks like if when I lower the engine, that it's going to damage the hose, so I'm opting to take that hose right off. So I'm going to attempt to take it off. It's already taken off at the mass airflow sensor, and now I'm going to take it off at the air box. So here's the hose clamp. My trusty 7mm socket. So I'm going to, and lo and behold, what do you know? This is the one clamp that's not 7. Okay, 8mm. There you go. This one is 8mm. I mean, who would have thunk it? I tell you, I would. There's a problem. The problem is, I don't know what the problem is, but it's not working. Maybe I can't take this air hose off. I stand corrected. And the air hose is off and dropping on the floor.